I wanted someone when I was pregnant to tell me so that I could avoid this unnecessary pain. I need your help. Whoever's watching, you out there in the world, I need your input. I have this dilemma and I'm really torn about it, and it's been increasingly building up slowly, I think for the past few months, honestly, but I feel like it's gone like this and then like this, like the past few weeks especially, and then the past few days. The urgency has just been building up more and more, and I don't know, like what should I do? I've talked to various people about it, but I'm just really curious in terms of the specific people who watch this channel, who watch my videos, whoever is being reached by the YouTube algorithm that, YouTube thinks would be interested in this. I just really need to know what would be helpful for you, slash what you think would be helpful for others. And I will explain, okay, but just to give you context, if you are new here, I share all about the reality of my experience being a first-time mom, okay? It has been quite a shocking experience, to say the least. I'm 18 weeks now. And yeah, that's a whole thing, right? Why do we use weeks and whatever? I talked about that in another video. But yeah, I'm 18 weeks postpartum with my first baby. It is a world of a difference now compared to what it was the first 2.5 months, basically, straight. Just 2.5 months straight of living in a haze. And I go in depth in my channel. If you are curious, I talk about all the things, or I have been talking about all the things that I wish someone had just told me, because I remember being so shocked, especially the first night back from the hospital. I was just delirious, crying, baby blues hit me hard. I didn't even know for sure it was baby blues at that point, but it's like when you're in it, you don't see it. And you think that you're just going through this like normal experience, but it's not until you're out of the fog that you see how bad the fog was. So I had postpartum depression, baby blues, struggles with breastfeeding, extreme sleep deprivation. My baby had bad reflux, which was a whole thing, nonstop screaming, new mom brain, just like overwhelmed and anxious about everything. Like, is this okay? Will the baby like be okay if I do this or that? Or will I harm the baby if I do this or that? And like everything's brand new, let alone you're still processing the shock of giving birth. Like, what just happened? I particularly was like, oh my gosh, the worst is over, right? Like the hardest part is over, because all you hear about on the internet and from other people is preparing for labor and delivery and birth, and not many people talk about the reality and also what to do, reality of afterbirth. And just to, again, to give you context, I've done so much prep work. I did all the classes, all the workshops, all the books, all the videos. I did it all. And this is why I feel so, if you can't tell, I'm really worked up about this, because like I can't even recall what I was thinking when I was pregnant. Hearing how other people said it was hard, I think I just kind of assumed like, okay, just gonna mentally and emotionally prepare. It's gonna be hard, but we'll figure it out on the way. But I just never heard people talk about the in-depth detail of what exactly does that mean? What makes it hard? What are the challenges? What can I do to prepare differently so that it's not as hard? And you go to these workshops. If you've never been in like these postpartum workshops, I remember attending multiple workshops. They all talked about, the emotional roller coaster, ups and downs. And if you feel like you want to harm your baby or harm yourself, like you need to call the hotline or talk to your OB or whatever. And you're just thinking, why would that happen? Like, wow, that must be like extreme cases. That must be like people who are just, maybe they have a lot of like a really severe history of depression, anxiety, and they probably just, you just don't think it will happen to you until it does. And for me personally, I go really in depth into this in my other videos on my channel, okay? I suffered a lot. It was the hardest time. I just did not know to expect it. And again, I say this in every video, not everyone's experience is the same. I know everyone's experience hinges on so many different factors, but I just, for some reason, I and my husband had all the hard cards dealt us. And it was just a shock. Anyway, I was gonna say, I remember thinking, why did no one tell me about this? Why was everyone, when I was pregnant, showing, like, obviously pregnant, why did everyone just keep saying, congratulations, it's gonna be so great, you're gonna grow so much, all these like positive things. But barely anybody actually told me like what to really expect. And I understand, like, now that I've gone through it, I'm talking to other moms, and I realize how universal this is, that like so many people, like when you are a first time mom, so many moms really do struggle. Not all, every mom struggles the same way. I think everybody has their own unique, again, experience, but a lot of moms struggle because people just didn't prepare them or warn them. Or again, for me, did not have any baby experience. Everything was brand new. I was just so like, what is happening? And the sleep deprivation totally robs you of even being able to think straight, process things well. Like emotionally, you are just unhinged. Like you're just disconnected. You're like, what's happening? And then you're going through also this major identity shift too, of like my reality is like totally different now. What is going on? Okay, I'm gonna get to my point. So basically, I have these amazing friends that I love so much. I care about these friends. I'm so excited for them. Now that I'm through the other side, thankfully, in terms of our experience, I know everyone's timeline is different, but for us, it took up to the 3-month mark. I would say like 2.5 was a lot better, and then 3 was really like the game changer period, which a lot of people told me it does get better at 3 months. But again, everyone's different. So some people, it doesn't get that much better at 3 months until later. Some people are sooner. Anyway, 3 months was like the turning point for us. But up to 3 months on a daily basis, 24/7, 24 hours in a day, I was struggling so much. I couldn't like wrap my head around, why did I not know this? And why did no one talk about it? And that's really what compelled me to start documenting this and sharing my videos, because I was like, I need to be that voice that I didn't have. Like I need to not warn, but like I just need to tell people the lay of the land, what I'm going through, what it's like, because literally after you go through it, you do not really remember much. And as soon as I saw that starting to happen already, I was like, I need to document this because I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, it was hard, but I learned so much. No, you need to remember. I was like telling myself, yes, there's going to be positive things that will come out of it, but when you're in the middle of it, you need to hear from someone who is also in the middle of it and telling you, you are not alone, you are not crazy. Things are so much better now, although there's still so many ups and downs, but the hardest part, I feel like, is the initial stage of postpartum, being a first time mom, being like, everything is different, what am I doing, not really having support, for a majority of us now in modern day Western society. And it's just really tough. But I specifically remember, because I've made these videos and talked about it and processed and like been reflecting on it constantly, I just think it's easy for moms to kind of just like want to move on and like not think about it, and then we become part of the problem. We are perpetuating the same cycle, telling other moms. I'm finding this about myself. I'm telling now my other, soon-to-be mom friends, like, oh my gosh, congratulations, it's gonna be so great, and like such a great adventure, and because you want to be excited for them and you want them to be excited too. You don't want to be a Debbie Downer and then like rain on their parade and be like, oh my gosh, buckle up, because I realize, when you do that, it does make them feel, it makes people feel like, if someone did that to me, and I think maybe a few people, I don't even remember, but like, if I'm just imagining, if someone did that to me, I would be like, that is so negative and I do not need that energy. Like I just want to be excited and, in a good headspace, especially like going into labor. Like I want to make sure I'm filled with peace and faith and positive energy. And like, I totally get that. At the same time, I feel like you can have that and then also have a healthy amount of realistic expectations and what you can do to prepare well. You don't have to have one or the other. But it is tricky. It is really tricky. And so all that to say is I have these friends who are now expecting, they've never had kids before, they're like going through all the things that I went through, all the emotions of like, oh wow, like everything's gonna change. I don't really know what to expect, but things will change, and it's gonna be a roller coaster, and it's gonna be tough, and I'm not really sure how, but we'll figure it out, right? And then you're also trying to get like as much done and prepared beforehand, before your due date, and you feel all these different emotions, and I just feel like so torn. Like, do I insist? Do I keep? I don't even know the word, but just like emphasizing, like, hey, if you haven't like looked into or done kind of more preparation about the reality of birth, of labor, but then also what comes after that, the classes just tell you these like theoretical things that to know in your mind, but it's so different actually going through it and experiencing it, witnessing it, and everything just flies out your brain at that point unless you have people in your life like who's experienced and who can help you. I'm just so passionate and like on this personal mission of making these videos to be that person now for other people, because I just remember thinking, I wish someone had told me. I wish more people talk about this and help you understand the importance of not just preparing for your pregnancy, labor, birth, and then general postpartum stuff, like, the recovery, physical recovery, and, expectations of what could happen and what you should do. It's just like, it totally does not translate into reality. And I don't know how else to say it, but yeah, so I'm in this dilemma now where I have these people that I care about, and so many women out there who I know are like going to be like me. And the analogy that I've been using to talk about this with my husband is like, I feel like I went off the edge of a waterfall not knowing that it was a waterfall, and I crashed really hard, and it took me 3 months to finally recover. And I'm just like now not sure, do I tell people that they're approaching a waterfall? Like maybe they think it's just like a drop like this, but it's actually like this. And the other thing that's hard about it is it's not that hard for everyone. Like, everyone goes through a different thing just depending on their hormones and their background, their experience, their health, their mindset, like so many different things. But I definitely feel like in general, so many women, especially, I mean, both parents, but especially the women for the first time, it's completely shocking just how far that drop is and how much time it actually takes to recover. My perception going into motherhood was, oh, it's gonna be hard, but at the first few weeks, be in bed and like try to rest, and then have people deliver food, and then I think everything will be more settled like after the first few weeks. But it's like, no, 6 week. I remember the 6 week mark, 8 week mark. I was like, I'm still struggling so much, but it's awkward now because I think people assume that we're good, and I don't know how to like actively, it's a brand new muscle at that point to like proactively reach out and say, I'm struggling, I need help, can you help me? And so it really has been this like practice, this spiritual practice, and this exercise to intentionally think of ways to actually humbly admit, hey, I need help, I need support. Can you do XYZ? Could you do XYZ? It's okay if not, but just to practice that muscle. But my dilemma is, what do I like say something? Do I just let people be in their happy, blissful pregnancy bubble and figure it out themselves? Because I feel like that's kind of the generally accepted philosophy from what I can perceive amongst moms and just people who have gone through the trenches and now have emerged on the other side. And I feel like the farther you are from that first time mom postpartum experience, the more easy it is to just completely have forgotten, because your mind just blocks out how freaking hard it was. And now you're at this point where you're like, yeah, you'll be great, it's gonna be awesome, because you've now already experienced the other side, how much better it gets, the rewards and the joys of raising your child, and you also have grown a lot more in confidence. But when you are freshly a first-time mom, I feel like I'm at a sweet spot where I can still vividly remember that, but I also have grown a lot in my confidence as a mom. And yeah, I can't get over. It doesn't sit well with me. I feel like I'm doing them a disservice. I'm doing moms a disservice by not saying something. And yet I don't want to come off pushy or trying to impose or cross boundaries, because I know that's also like, it can be annoying. I remember feeling kind of like that way too. And I kind of sense, looking back, I kind of did sense some other moms like, they were so eager to help, and they were so like kind and giving me advice and tips and whatnot. And I remember thinking like, oh wow, all these moms like really want to help. And I don't like, what is it about moms? Like, I didn't understand. It was because we're all just trying to save our past selves. We're all just trying to save these unknowing, these naive, soon to be moms who are like us, not knowing it's not as straightforward as you think. I think a lot of moms maybe have either forgotten or given up on it, or don't want to come off pushy. They want to be like respectful, and they've like gone through it enough to be like, oh yeah, they'll figure it out on their own. But I wanted someone when I was pregnant to tell me, so that I could avoid this unnecessary pain. And I don't want to come off self-promoting either, like, hey, I have this YouTube channel, watch my videos, whatever. I genuinely just want other moms to know what I didn't know. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. A lot of moms do not know the importance of baby sleep, the importance of mindset in labor, especially, I'm gonna do a separate video on this. Unmedicated labor, so many moms are like winging it, and I'm like, no, you cannot wing this thing. Gosh. That's enough for this video. I'll talk to you guys later. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do, or what, especially if you are a mom, what you wish someone would have done for you to better help prepare yourself. Yeah, let me know. See you guys.